Welcome back to the channel, and as always, I hope you're doing well. Now, as you'll know if you already follow along with the channel, I recently did a trip over to Fraser Island on the DRZ. I spent 3 days and 2 nights on the island, checking out some of the tourist hotspots and having an absolute blast with some of the funnest riding I've done to date. Since the videos have come out, I've been hit with a bunch of questions regarding this trip. So I figured, why not make a quick video on how to see Fraser Island on a motorcycle and try to help some of you out so you can get over there and have your own epic Fraser Island adventure. Now before we get into some of the finer details, let's start off with some general information about the island. Fraser Island, or Kagari, which means paradise in the local indigenous language, is actually a World Heritage Site. It is located in Queensland and sits about 250 kilometres north of Brisbane. The island itself is around 123 kilometres long and 22 kilometres wide, and is the largest sand island in the world at 1,840 square kilometres. Now there is a lot more on offer than just sand on Fraser. It has some of the most beautiful rainforests, some of the most pristine inland lakes scattered around that are just made for swimming, as well as all of the amazing wildlife that calls the island home, including the dingoes. There is plenty to see and do on Fraser Island. Now when it comes to getting yourself and your motorcycle over to Fraser Island, you obviously need to jump on a barge for the short trip. There are 2 ferry services that run daily to and from Fraser, the first being the Sea Link service, which leaves from Riverheads near Harvey Bay and drops you on the west side of the island. The second being the Manta Ray barge, which is the option that I chose. This barge leaves from Inskip Point, just north of Rainbow Beach, and drops you at the southernmost point of Fraser. Now I chose the Manta Ray barge because I was travelling from the south, so it was the logical choice. But in researching for this video, I found that the cost of the Manta Ray was almost half the price of the Sea Link service, so something to consider there. It cost me $60 for a return ticket, which can be purchased on board with cash only. Something else that you'll need to purchase beforehand is a vehicle permit. Now these can be purchased from Queensland Parks and Wildlife website. A monthly pass for Fraser is $55.90, and this is the minimum duration of permit that can be bought. If you're travelling from the south and want to ride along the beach from Noosa up to Double Island Point and onto Rainbow Beach like I did, you'll also need a vehicle permit for Kalula Beach. You can buy the 2 monthly passes together for $89.80. There is a bunch of different options to suit everyone when it comes to accommodation or camping with your motorcycle on Fraser. For those that want to rough it, or for anyone on a bit of a tighter budget, camping is the obvious choice. You can book camping spots online through Queensland Parks and Wildlife for $7 per person per night, but unfortunately you are a bit limited on spots to choose from when camping on the island. Queensland Parks and Wildlife state that campers staying at campgrounds without any facilities must have their own portable chemical toilet. Now the way some people pack their motorcycles these days, who knows? Maybe some will be able to fit a chemical toilet on the back, but for me and most others, this is just out of the question. So I've gone ahead and picked a few camp spots here that have some facilities and are worth checking out. Now Central Station camping area is between Lake Mackenzie and the township of Yoorong in the southern half of the island. It is a fenced campsite to keep the dingoes out, and it's set in the middle of the rainforest. It has toilets, wash-up facilities and coin-operated hot showers, so make sure you pack some gold coins. Dundabara camping area is located just behind the frontal dunes of the eastern beach, and it's 41 kilometres north of the Yoorong township. It's in a reasonably central spot to venture north and south on the island. It is another fenced campsite to keep those dingoes out, and it also has toilets, wash-up facilities and coin-operated showers. Waddy Point camping area is located a further 27 kilometres north of Dundabara camping area and is just near the township of Orchard Beach. Now there's 2 camping areas at Waddy Point, one being down on the beachfront and the second one tucked up behind the dunes. All the facilities here are located in the camping area behind the dunes, and once again they have wash-up facilities, toilets and coin-operated showers. Now for those of you that have the extra cash or just don't want to rough it, there is some other options. Yoorong, Happy Valley, Orchard Beach, all along the eastern beach have accommodation options. Anything from a room in the resorts up to renting an entire home. Now I chose to stay at Cathedrals on Fraser for my adventure, getting myself a fixed tent for 2 nights. This was much cheaper than the resorts, plus I only needed to bring my own sleeping bag and pillow, which means less weight to carry on the bike. Although you can get linen for an extra cost if you do need it. This was a great little spot to stay in my experience, and they also have cabins and campsites on offer. There is also a shop on site, so if you did forget anything or you want to grab some drinks or some hot food or even fuel, that's available as well. Now if you can go to Fraser in the off-peak periods of the year, try and do so, as the accommodation prices are much higher through the regular holiday periods. Travelling around Fraser Island for the most part is very simple riding. The eastern beach is a hard-packed sand highway around low tide, and it's best to travel 2 hours either side of low tide. But I found on a bike that you can get around just fine most of the time, as long as you don't mind a little bit of soft sand. Obviously the inland tracks and bypass tracks are a different story, but even the less experienced sand riders could have a good time over on Fraser Island. Just plan out your travel times and routes before you go. Make sure you pay attention to the change in speed zones while on Fraser. Most of the eastern beach is 80 km an hour, but around townships, campgrounds and popular tourist points, it reduces to 40. I found this out the expensive way, so don't make the same mistake that I did. For those of you with a smaller fuel tank, there's plenty of fuel stops scattered along the east coast of Fraser. Eurong, Happy Valley, Cathedrals on Fraser and Orchard Beach all have fuel available, making it nice and easy to get around, not having to carry extra fuel or stress that you're going to run out. Fuel can be pricey on the island, so if you can avoid it, wait until you get off the island to top back up. I spent 1 full day and 2 half days on my Fraser adventure. I got to experience a fair amount on this short trip, but if you want to see and do absolutely everything on Fraser Island, you'll probably want a couple of extra days up your sleeve. Now in my opinion, there's a few must-dos while you're on Fraser, so I've made a short list here of things you shouldn't miss out on. First up is Lake Mackenzie. Lake Mackenzie is definitely a must-see while you're on Fraser Island. Make sure you take the time to stop and have a dip in the beautiful water. It really is as beautiful in person as all the photos make it look. Secondly is the Champagne Pools. This is another spot that you need to stop and check out on your way up or down the east coast. I could have easily spent half a day here just hanging out, enjoying the water and the sunshine, so definitely don't skip this one. Now last but not least is the Sandy Cape. If you're confident enough to give Ngala Rocks a go, you've got to get up to the top of the island and check out the Sandy Cape. This place is absolutely amazing, and the ride from Sandy Cape around to the lighthouse is beautiful and you won't regret it. Now obviously there are many other things to see and do on Fraser Island, and I myself need to get back there at some point to check it out some more. But the 3 spots that I just mentioned are great places to start. So what do you guys think? Are you going to give Fraser Island a go on your bike? Let me know down below in the comments. It really is an amazing place and everyone needs to try and check it out at least once. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. Really hope you got something out of this, and I hope it inspires you to plan your own epic Fraser adventure. If there's anything that I've missed that you might want to know, please let me know down below in the comments and I'll try and help you out. Now before you go, if you can whiskey throttle that like button, I would appreciate that massively, and also consider hitting that subscribe button. I've got a massive adventure coming to you all in a few months' time, even bigger than this Fraser Island trip, so make sure you don't miss out on any of that. Cheers guys, make sure you ride safe, and I'll see you all soon. Later.